Right, well, I've mixed a bit more of the buff titanium colour. You could call it a flesh tint even. You know, it's a mix between buff titanium and a flesh tint colour. So I'm just going to get a little bit of that on the knife. And then where this comes down just here, if you want to brighten it up a bit, I'm just going to put a bit more just up in there. Just to brighten that up. It's nice. I tell you, these rocks are gorgeous. It's amazing how small amounts of paint you can actually play with when you're doing this. See, this one here probably comes right through to this part and back and flatten it slightly. You can even take the excess paint off the knife, come back with a clean knife and just flatten that. Very good. I'm happy. Now we've got an area up in here also which needs more highlight, just in there. Maybe just a bit at the top as well. And it comes down. That's much better. We've got a definite particular shape to them, of these mountains. Different to what I've done before in the past. I love it. See that? Just giving that an edge. Just in there. That's it. Lovely. And there's just a bit just touching up into that as well. Perfect. Right, now we get onto the trees, which are going to be a lot of fun. We've got some background trees to do, and we've also got some foreground trees to make, middle ground ones. So what I'm going to do, first of all use the knife. I'm going to get, this is for the trees that are a bit further away. I'm going to get a bit of black, a bit of crimson, bit of blue, not a lot of blue, just a bit, smallest amount of blue, crimson, and into that I'm going to get some sap green, small amount of sap green, just at the side of it there. So I've got that pile there, that's the lavender mix, and I'm going to mix some of that with that sap green. In there. Also I can grab a bit of that white just to make it a bit lighter so it sits slightly further away. Just there. So I've only got a hue of green. Right, now I'm going to just get a fan brush. In fact, I've got a small fan brush here. This will probably be better for the distant trees that I'm going to make first of all. Now, see the colour, which has got a bit of the green in it, lavender with a bit of sap green. Pull both sides to a sharp chiselled edge, and then I'm just going to work out where my first one's going to be, which is up in here. There. And then the next one will be there. See, I want to go slightly over what we've got. So all I'm doing is I'm planning where I'm going to have some trees. I'm not actually doing them yet. I'm just doing the very top, the very tip top. Now, just over here there's a bigger one that goes up to about there, does it? Yeah. About there. Sweet. Now I'm going to actually just start to paint this one in. Quite far away these, so I want it to mix slightly with the colour that's on there. I'm just using the corner, but we're going over quite a lot of paint here. It's quite consistent is the shape on these, so I want to get them very, very consistent on either side. I love painting these trees from real life. They all have their own particular way of looking, whether it's from Alaska, whether it's Yosemite National Park like we're doing now. They all have their own little bits of character to the trees. So I really like to capture that character. Now, this one just come right down to there, and then below that we've got some mist, so I'm not going to go below that yet. We're going to use the lavender for that, and then we can mist it. It's a bit different to how we normally do them. Nothing there. This I'll touch a bit lower down first. That just allows it to mix a bit with that colour, with the white that's underneath on the back. Still wet is all this. This one stays quite thin actually, you don't get really fat. More trees that are going to grow up to the sides of that. Just down in here I'm just going to be tapping basically. Actually tap all the way along so it doesn't go any lower than that. Now you see why we've got this misty area here. Really helps separate this layer from that layer. Right. Got another one behind just there, but that's got more green in it, so I'm not going to do that quite yet. Do this one here. Turn it over when you run out of colour, and it'll instantly get darker for you then. There. And there's another tree in between that as well. Running out of paint slightly, so I just mixed it a tiny bit more. So that's a tree in between them. We've got put one in there, didn't I? So like that. Tiny bit taller. And just come in and a bit small top. There we go. Lots and lots of little trees. There's one there that's not actually a tree, it's more like a bush. So I'll just paint that in as a bush, just there. See that? start running out of colour, it really will start being hard for you to get your colour to go over the top of this. Just make sure you keep mixing plenty of colour for this. What we can do is we can actually get some real depth in with these trees, because there's certain trees that I've done up in here which I want to actually make them look lighter. So what I'll do is I'll use a little bit of the lemon yellow, a little bit of lemon yellow into the sap green. See, I've got that dark on my brush, so you might need a bit more cad yellow than you would otherwise if you had a clean brush. So I'll just use that, and then there's a tree just here at the side of this that's quite a lot lighter. So I'm just going to do that in the green, as it's been hit by the light a bit more as this. And then this darker tree will be in front of it. See that? I'd normally put this in first, but I actually didn't bother. I don't mind sometimes doing it still. There we go. See, that's predominantly lighter than what's in front of it. And then it gives it depth, it makes it look like it's further back. You can even use a bit of that green and a couple of the others that we've already put. But it's going over the darks this time, so it'll stay darker. I'll just give it an indication of green on them. A few little highlights going on, but only at the tops where the light's coming through. Down here is going to be pretty dark. Ooh, I made that bigger than I wanted it, so I'll have to make that tree a bit taller, won't we? They do have a tendency of growing on you, do evergreen trees, because if you make a mistake like I just did there, you predominantly have to be bigger. You can use your knife and you can actually run up through them. Yeah, and that gives it a trunk. Just gives it a little tree trunk. Cool. Sometimes we'll go back and do put a little top on them. Sometimes I have 2 or 3 tops on them. Right, I'm just going to do another dark one over in here. Again, it's grown on me. I always do them smaller usually than I actually want them, because I know they're going to grow bigger than I want. There we go. Much better, that one. Again, I can put some more green on some of these. It might not be noticeable to you, but you've got to do it. It'll be noticeable when you're painting it. I hope it stands out on the camera for you, like. It's very subtle, so it's not always seeable. can't always see it. Put a little top on that one. Keep some of them dark, just totally dark, and then the odd ones stick it in really bright and vibrant, like for instance this bush in here. I can just tap some green onto that and just allow it to mix in with it. I want it to be quite a bit brighter as it's sat out there in the sunshine. Let it mix with that colour that's underneath. That's good. Now we're back to its dark colour again, and just in here I'm going to paint this tree back in dark again, so it looks like it's in front of this one that's behind, and then we've got some bushes that are just in there in front of it. Much darker than what's behind. Yeah. And then all that can be tapped in. Now this is where the beauty of this actually comes now, because what we do, first I'll just put a few more of these in, a few more indications of trunks. Sometimes you can run them just straight up and they'll actually give you a little indication of there, one without any trunk, one without any leaves, sorry. Now I did actually go a bit too heavy into one there. Let's see, it doesn't always work exactly how you want it to. So you just got to persevere. I would never just leave it though, because I know that I'll be unsatisfied then with it. Beauty. Right now, at the base of these, I'm going to have to put some lavender, so I'll just mix some more of that up. Right, so I've just mixed up another lavender colour there, the same as we've been using throughout, crimson and phthalo blue, and I'm just going to tap into that. Now, what I do is I start up just up in here where the trees are. See that? Just tap in the base of where the trees are. And then what you do is you come down into the liquid white, down in here. See that? And what will happen is the lavender will actually mix with the liquid white. And I want to create a misty area underneath these trees. They're quite misty, and in the background of these. Not quite so close. So I'm just going to tap under that. And you've got to just keep persistently tapping with that. And tap that lovely lavender colour into there. And you'll find that the more you do this, the more it'll mix with the liquid white, and the more it'll look like mist. Just lovely lavender coloured mist. It's a gorgeous hue. It's a lovely hue of colour. Get quite brutal with these. You have to. There. Even up into these trees you can sometimes just tap a little bit to make it look like the mist is slightly going up into the trees a little bit. Now I'm just going to actually get some titanium white. I've got a small bit there, I'll use that, and I'm going to tap into that titanium white to make this colour so much lighter. See that? Straight into that. And then with that I can come back in here and I can make it look like beautiful mist. It's very soft though. Very, very soft is this mist. And then you blend it from soft to the dark colour, from light to dark, and that mist will just sit in there beautifully. I love painting mist. I really adore it. There's no feeling like it. Tap that up into there. Step back and have a good look at it from a distance. I'm happy. Just need to actually bring some of this mist up into these trees just a bit, just here and there, so that they don't look separate, but you can see the part of it then. And you can even put the odd little detail into the actual mist itself then. I've got this brush that we used for the trees before, and we've got this one in here, this lovely tree. I can actually bring it so that see, it just stands out a little bit. Just in there. So there's just an indication there's something going on in that part. It's not very distinct. It's very, very subdued. Same with this one. Bring a little bit of the detail just through. So I've just got some of the green, yellow and sap green. I'm just tapping that up onto these trees up in here. First of all, you need to just apply the colour, you see. First thing is just apply that colour in there. Once you've got the colour applied, then you can actually make it look like the trees, distant trees. Stuff going on in there. Just tap that colour in. Comes right down actually to there. And if you look at it, get a little dark strip here and there, just leave it in. It's cool. That's what we want. Get a bit more of that yellow, and then just on the edge, up in there, just going to use that yellow, cad yellow. I'm just stippling at the moment, just putting it on. But once I get that colour on there, I can actually just lift up slightly and make it look like distant evergreen trees growing down there. Yeah. So then you just come along and you just gently go up, very gently. Just hundreds and thousands of these tiny little pine trees growing up the mountain. They'll come straight up though. Straight up. There. That's cool. And then just underneath that, again, just pull up and it just gives the indication there's a lot of pine trees growing in there. Far, far away though. Excellent. Now we need a shadow behind that. So just get a bit of the dark, and then just underneath, about there, I'll put a shadow. Tap into that, and then you can actually lift up on the shadow. Hope it stays in there dark, you know. We have to exaggerate that, I think, quite a bit. So I'll get some of the really dark lavender this time. and then just in here I'm going to tap again, do that, and then lift up. See, as they come towards you they're going to get bigger as well, so you've got a layer just in between, and that comes from there. It's like there's some of the rock showing through. Just in that area. Paint it on first, like so with the knife, and it comes down in strips. Even over there, I've got a tiny bit over here where you can see some of the soil just underneath. But the angles are all important when you're doing mountains. Obviously we've got the mountain and then it comes down at this angle, so we need to follow that with the soil and with everything.